Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the price of Bitcoin and the price of Ethereum have broken below a key level of support in the short term, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. Make sure you stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update on the daily Bitcoin charts, because over the past one day, we've seen the daily Bitcoin RSI drop into oversold territories for the first time since that June low and also early July. And generally speaking, when the daily Bitcoin RSI drops into oversold territories, that usually means that we have somewhat limited room to the downside in the Bitcoin price, which is why we usually see the Bitcoin price carve out a local low when the daily Bitcoin RSI is in oversold territories, because it essentially means the RSI needs to start to reset in order to potentially give us some more room to the downside later on, as we have seen recently. And so basically, based on the daily Bitcoin RSI indicator, some sort of local low in the price of Bitcoin might not be too far away. But with that being said, zooming into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, and we can see the price of Bitcoin has just broken below the golden pocket level of support when you draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from the June low up to this swing high. And by doing that placed the golden pocket at around $20,000 per Bitcoin. And as of recording this video, we've seen not only a 12-hour candle close, but also a daily candle close just below 20,000. And so technically speaking, this is one confirmation on this chart for a break to the downside. But at the time of recording this video, the Bitcoin price is attempting a short-term bounce at the moment. And so in order to further confirm this break to the downside, we would need to see the price of Bitcoin flip 20K into new resistance. And if that happens, basically, if the Bitcoin price either gets a rejection or consolidate below 20,000, then that will just be extra confirmation in this break to the downside below the golden pocket, which would give us more confidence in the bearish scenario playing out. And in this bearish scenario, the next major support level that I'm currently watching is this 78.6% Fibonacci level, which is sitting at almost exactly $19,000 per Bitcoin. And we've already seen a lot of previous supports at around 19,000 back here during July. So this has been confirmed as support previously, which is why I'm currently focusing on 19,000 as our next support level to the downside. And anything below that level, if we break 19,000, then I'd expect a drop down towards that 17.6K low, which is our final support, obviously before lower lows. But before we get ahead of ourselves, once again, we still have that support at 19,000, which I'm watching. And also the RSI on the 12-hour time frame is clearly in oversold territories, which is telling us that a local low in the price of Bitcoin might not be too far away, kind of like this, for example, when the RSI entered into oversold territories, we saw just a local low in the price of Bitcoin at around 20.7K to 20.8K, and then played out a decent bounce over the next few days. And speaking of the 12-hour Bitcoin RSI, I've been discussing over the past few days that we could possibly form a bullish divergence, but it hasn't been confirmed. And in case you haven't already noticed, the RSI as of right now on the 12-hour chart has already now formed lower lows. So this obviously is not a bullish divergence. It can no longer form right here. But it's a different story if you're looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin charts, because obviously the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is forming higher lows while the price is in lower lows. But considering the fact that this potential bullish divergence is only now visible on smaller timeframes like the 4-hour chart and not visible on the 12-hour chart, it is simply not as significant as if it were forming on the 12-hour charts, because the higher the time frame, the more significant the signal or the pattern. But anyway, heading back to the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and obviously this bear flag is still playing out as expected, with that support range still sitting at around $19,000 per Bitcoin, but the technical price target for that bear flag pattern is sitting at around $18,000 per Bitcoin. So obviously that would require the Bitcoin price breaking below this support. But either way, like I've been saying on this channel, whether or not the price of Bitcoin stops at that $19,000 support level or continues down towards $18,000 to meet the full technical price target for the bear flag pattern, either way, I'm still currently focusing on downside price targets, and currently I don't have any upside price targets in the short term for Bitcoin, because right now the trend in the short term is clearly a bearish trend, and we have multiple bearish patterns currently still playing out. And while this is happening, taking a look at the Bitcoin funding rate, they are still very much in the negative territory, which basically makes it more and more expensive to short Bitcoin or any of these coins with a negative funding rate. And if you want to know why this is the case, I explained all of this in much more detail in my last video that I posted yesterday on the channel. So if you're new to this channel, check out my last video. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the 12-hour Ethereum chart. And as of right now, we've seen one 12-hour candle close, which is also a daily candle close below this 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, which was sitting at around 1470 approximately. So like I said, for Bitcoin, this is not a good signal for Ethereum. This is obviously a bearish signal for Ethereum, at least in the shorter term. And that would especially be the case if the price of Ethereum finds resistance at around 1470. So basically, on this short-term bounce, if we get a rejection around that level, or if we simply see the price of Ethereum consolidate below around 1470 to 1480, then that would clearly be a bearish signal in the short term for Ethereum, telling us that we're due to see potentially more downside price action on this move. And by the way, both Bitcoin and Ethereum have pretty much almost met their full technical price target for their rising wedge patterns that I've been talking about for quite a few weeks now on this channel. And these full technical price targets that I'm talking about are sitting at the bottom of the rising wedge patterns, which for Bitcoin is at 19,000 approximately, and for Ethereum, this is sitting at around 1,400. And obviously, if you've been keeping up to date with my videos over the past few weeks, you would know that I've been talking about these price targets ever since the local high up here towards the middle of August. But with that being said, if Ethereum cannot break back above this 38.2% Fibonacci level at around 1470 approximately, then I would expect our next support to the downside coming into play at this 50% retracement level, which is sitting at around 1340 approximately. And anything below that, if we see the price of Ethereum start dropping down towards around 1300, then I would expect a drop down towards the golden pocket, which is an important support level sitting at around $1,200. And what's very interesting about this golden pocket sitting at $1,200 per Ethereum is also the fact that that is the full technical price target for this head and shoulders pattern, which is still currently actively playing out. So besides that $1,400 price target for the rising wedge pattern, the only other price target that I'm looking at is sitting at around 1,200. But between now and then, we do have that 50% retracement level, which could act as some support, which is sitting at around 13 to 1,400. But once again, like I've been saying on this channel, whether or not the price of Ethereum stops at one of these support levels or continues all the way down towards the full technical price target for the head and shoulders pattern at around 1,200, either way, I am still currently looking at downside price targets and not upside price targets, at least in the short term for Ethereum. And once again, this is because the trend is still obviously bearish while we have these bearish patterns currently playing out. But believe it or not, there are multiple ways for you to make a lot of money in crypto, whether or not the price is going up, down, or just chopping around sideways. Either way, you can make money by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. Because the video in the top left of your screen shows you how to make money if the price is going either up or down, and the video in the bottom left of your screen shows you how to make money if the price is simply chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.